Well, I wasn't gonna say anything, but now I guess I have to. You're an asshole. I don't care. I really don't care. I'm like, oh, you're gonna do the whole like, oh, I'm taking the dollar that didn't belong to me in the first place. It was her dollar that fell out of her purse, and thank you for cleaning up your money so I wouldn't have to get on my hands and knees and get it myself, because this jerk wasn't gonna help me. Tell everyone your name.
Alex.
Of course it is. Alex, the jerk. No, I'm kidding. I'm not. You know, you're very nice. You hush your mouth. You're in the front row. That means you paid at least $5 more than those people back there. Which means, 10 more, not to be specific or anything. I know how much it is. I was trying to sound like, I don't know what I'm talking about because that's what drag queens do. But guess what? I have an MFA, so fuck off. It's not my fault that drag queens are usually the smarter people in the room. And you want to know why? I'll tell you. Alex, that wasn't even the joke. Like, jeez. He's like, yes, queen! It's like, that's not it. No, the thing is, drag queens are community therapists. We know everything about all of you because you come up and willingly tell us when you're so fucking shit-faced drunk. You're like, my boyfriend just left me and I have syphilis, where do I get shots? And you're like, I'm in the middle of a meet and greet. Come here, write it down on your phone so in the morning when you realize that burning sensation is something you really do need to get checked out, I'll be here for you. Also, this is not my home phone number, so don't call and leave a message. Hey, Robbie Turner! It was so cool meeting you last night. I have syphilis, I'm that girl, remember? And then realize you're actually calling the hotline to get checked for an STI, because they're not diseases anymore, they're infections. It's called being smart enough to know what you're talking about. Even when you're drinking. So, how many of y'all are having a great time? I don't think I've ever seen so many people lift their hand and do the snap as a group. That was like something that no one said, but they all were like, yes! Like we're at a fucking beatnik poet reading. Is there a whole bunch of lesbians that are doing slam poetry in a second? Yeah. These two in their denim, they're like, they just left their painting ceramics class and they're like, yes, bitch, we're going to slam poetry night after the drag show. Because lesbians, unlike most groups in the subcultures, were you watching the show? That was weird. The staff, they get a break, but they have to walk, they have to fill in the seats. So, anyway, lesbians, one, get things done. Yes. Am I right? How many lesbians are in the audience right now?
Yay!
Yeah. I'm not even sure you are a lesbian. You just really like to say, yes, girl, queen. Is that your girlfriend?
Yes.
What's her name?
Kelsey.
That could literally be any white girl's name. You're like, she's a white girl. Her name's Kelsey. She's Kelsey. That's clearly Kelsey or Tiffany. How many Tiffanys are in the audience? Not one. You want to know why? I know you're a Tiffany. We can all tell. Because all Tiffanys are whores, and every Tiffany knows that that's how they're going to be called out. And every Tiffany that I went to high school with was kicked out and expelled for doing very nasty, slutty things. And so that is the generalization of all Tiffanys. And Alex, I bet you want to be Tiffany, don't you? Tonight's your night. I just put my puss on his face. Thank God I did laundry, aren't you lucky? And then that could be you next. I jumped on you for someone else's dollar. I was like, bitch, there's one thing you don't touch is a drag queen's bobby pins and her money. Because she'll kill you for free. And I have 10 kitchen knives glued to my hands. And these ones aren't the bitches that are press-ons. These are acrylic. They're gonna stay on, they're gonna sink in because I'm scrappy. And I'm gonna take you down, and then I'm gonna be like, oh no, this red that's dripping from my hands, it's nail polish.
Big week.
Whoa!
How dare you touch me? Stop it. Alex just asked where I was moving, like I'm on fucking Grindr or something. He's like, so where are you moving? Yes, I'm moving. I don't know where I'm moving to. I'm on the road a lot. But I got really serious. I'm like, Alex, you don't even know me like that. I'll jump on your face in a second. Anyway, I don't know where I'm moving because Alex, that's a personal question and you don't even know my social security number, so there. But what? My mom? What an odd thing to say. Of course people know my social security number. I was on RuPaul's Drag Race. That means that they know everything about me because they've like researched it in very awkward things and then they're like, I know your real name. And I'm like, okay, it's not hard to find out. And they're like, yes, but I also know the name that your family calls you, which is not your real name. And then you're like, okay. And they're like, also I know that scar above your left hip came from a bicycling accident when you were 7. A story you've never told because I was there. You're like, what? And they're like, also I know that the scar you're going to get next year is from me because I'm going to kill you and a rabbit. And I'm like, buy a wig at my sale. Life is hard, Alex, but you will not know that until you're a contestant on RuPaul's Drag Race and RuPaul turns and looks at you like this. And you actually hear the noise when the noise is not happening. And you're like, she's like, that's all. And she slinks into the darkness. I just wanted to step out of that blinding light. Anyway, are you guys ready for a little bit more drag show? I'm sorry. Are you guys ready for a little bit more drag show? I'm gonna need that again, but at a higher volume, please. Ready, go! Just making sure you're awake. Also, a belch during the scream doesn't count. You're like, yeah! Yeah! Grindr, did you guys meet on Grindr? You look like it, you brought matching scarves. Is that how you found out? You're like, hey, I know, let's both wear cranberry and matching scarves. That way we'll know. Because you can't carry a book with Pride and Prejudice with a rose in it anymore. Because people are like, who reads? Don't you have a Kindle? Like, you're disgusting. But you know what? I support you. And I bet later tonight, when you're both having sexy time, if you say my name, it'll make your climax even bigger. You don't even know him. You just put your arm around him because you think his name is Kelsey. Shut up. Okay. Come on to you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm really excited for this next performer because you've seen her once, you're gonna see her twice, you're gonna see her a third time, and she's amazing. And I saw her upstairs and she just simply mentioned to me, oh, these? They're a simple Friday earring, and when you see them, you'll understand. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the beautiful, live singing voice of Mayhem Miller!